One of the stations was Reading Plus, and I noticed that the students had a tracker. Tell me about the stars. Like, some students had stars scratched out and combos, and one student had made a goal to go from 2 to 6. How did that all start?
So whenever they took their beginning of the year assessment, it obviously told us kind of where they currently were. And together with the student, we sat down and had Reading Plus conferences, and we set goals together as to where they currently are, where they need to be by the middle of the year, and then therefore at the end of the year. In order for students to level up, they have different numbers of combos that they need to get done in order to level up. So that's what the stars represented. Each star represented a combo. And then some students, their goal was to finish 5 combos in order to get to the next level. And that was all generated by Reading Plus. We just kind of put it on paper, which they can see it on Reading Plus as well. But a lot of them just don't know where to go. It's just easier to have kind of a hands-on thing that we can follow up with. They all have different numbers of combos, and that's why some were scratched off. They all have different goals. So every Monday, I look at their Reading Plus data from the week before, and however many combos they have, their name goes on the spinner wheel that many times. So the more combos they have, the more times their name goes on the wheel for more chances to win a prize. Also, every time they level up, they get a free jeans pass for the next day. Not only can they see their progress, but they're always constantly like working towards something tangible too.
How do you find Schoology to be a tool in your classroom?
I tried really hard to set up my Schoology course to be almost exactly like my actual classroom. So I literally have a link that if they click on it will show them that entire back wall of posters. So I tried to keep it very parallel to what was going on in my classroom. We have a weekly folder that they can access for what we're doing each week, as well as a past week's folder, which houses everything from past weeks. Also, there's a specific like graded missing work. Here's what folders to go in to find it. So I tried to simplify it in that sense. We pretty much use it daily for them to access. We'll do, like with this novel, for instance, we would read the novel, have our discussions, and then whenever they were to answer questions or do the assessment component, then they would go into Schoology to do that. So they're very familiar with kind of the where to go and how to get there.
If you were talking to a teacher who's interested in setting up their class like this, what recommendations would you give them?
I would say very intentional groupings. Some classes honestly works better than other classes for just various reasons. Relationships with the kids, relationships with the teacher, just kind of classroom dynamic. But with most of my classes, it's really come down to the groupings and, just using my judgment on how the kids work together. And then also just being very clear with expectations, and having multiple places for them to reference if they're confused. They can utilize their group members. They can look here in Schoology. They can look here on the board. Just plenty of resources.
How do students know you're going to keep them accountable for independent work?
While we're doing warm-up, I will, pull sticks to have, after students have an opportunity to share with each other, pull sticks for them to share with the class what the answer was. So they kind of understand that routine and they know, oh, there's a chance I might have to speak in front of the class. I better know what I'm talking about. For their exit tickets, they have an exit ticket paper for the week, and they know every 2 weeks, front and back, I have to turn that in. As far as just the general setup of the room, we utilize Champs a lot, so they know the expectations. Whenever we have a station activity like this, we have the Champs for each activity posted, so they know exactly what they should be doing. Sometimes we switch up the groups depending on the activity, but the groups that they were in were actually their reading groups. So they read the novel together. In their groups, they talked about the same topics together. So now whenever they are working on their projects, they kind of have the same knowledge of the novel and their conversations and the topics as well.